everyone, welcome back to some more Lo-Fi Yoga. And before we get into what we're doing today, let's go ahead and start with a nice breath in. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 3, 2, 1. And breathe out. 2, 3, 4. I've been struggling making these videos, and it seems like every time I go to record, I find myself freezing and my mind going blank because I just don't know what to say. And I always have ideas for what to talk about in the videos when I'm not recording, and the second I sit down and plan to actually do it, it's just like there's nothing there and I have no idea what to do. And I realize that that's because I am still trying to keep myself digestible in a way, and so I'm not being fully myself. I'm just not sure how much of myself would be too much, and I'm on that journey of realizing that it really doesn't matter. Highlight of my day, I'm going to buy some gummies, and this old woman walked into the shop and was like, "Do you have any medicine?" And the guy was kind enough to direct her to the nearest Walgreens. And like, after she lied to you, it's kind of like, I mean, I got medicine, but I don't know whose grandma that was, but one time I worked at this place, and they were always like, "Oh, you get free food, make whatever you want." And these people were so dirty. These people never washed their hands. I never saw anybody wash their hands when I was there for the 2 weeks that I worked there. I was so paranoid about these people. I would eat my lunch outside because I didn't want them looking at my food with their unclean eyes. Like, so gross. I will be glad that I'm not afraid to let it all go and start over again. I have not been in the same place twice, and I have not been the same me twice. There are similar pieces and old memories, but nothing is exactly the same. I'm proud of my perpetual newness, my snakeskin shed that keeps me moving forward. Someday, my roots will run deep, but for now, I will live in the moment. So I feel like seeing Blue Ivy dance at exactly the same age that I believe I danced for the last time ever, I think has healed my inner child. For sure, for sure. I've been really trying to Bob Stookie myself, like I said I would. And so, like, the other day I spilled my coffee, and it wasn't even for a bad reason. There was like a really cute dog that I was saying hi to, and she like went for my cup, and so I moved it, and I was sitting on a bench and it sort of like fell in the cracks of the bench, and so it tipped over. And like instead of being upset that I spilled my coffee, I was like, oh, libation. I just feel really proud of the progress that I've made, I guess, and I'm trying to silver lining my way through this rough patch. I think I have unfortunately arrived at feel the weather in my bones age, and I'm not thrilled about it. Like, my wrist has been bothering me for days, and lo and behold, it is now raining. I'm upset. I don't know how we got here. I am a baby child, a full-on baby child, and here I am saying, oh, rain. God. So this book was recommended to me by someone when I was in junior high, and the message was very clear. It's one of my favorite books. It is Jerry Spinelli's Stargirl. So let's get into it. Porcupine necktie. When I was little, my Uncle Pete had a necktie with a porcupine painted on it. I thought that necktie was just about the neatest thing in the world. Uncle Pete would stand patiently before me while I ran my fingers over the silky surface, half expecting to be stuck by one of the quills. Once, he let me wear it. I kept looking for one of my own, but I could never find one. I was 12 when we moved from Pennsylvania to Arizona. When Uncle Pete came to say goodbye, he was wearing the tie. I thought he did so to give me one last look at it, and I was grateful. But then, with a dramatic flourish, he whipped off the tie and draped it around my neck. "It's yours," he said, "going away present." I loved that porcupine tie so much that I decided to start a collection. 2 years after we settled in Arizona, the number of ties in my collection was still 1. Where do you find a porcupine necktie in Mica, Arizona? Or anywhere else, for that matter? On my 14th birthday, I read about myself in the local newspaper. The family section ran a regular feature about kids on their birthdays, and my mother had called in some info. The last sentence read, "As a hobby, Leo Borlaug collects porcupine neckties." Several days later, coming home from school, I found a plastic bag on our front step. Inside was a gift-wrapped package tied with yellow ribbon. The tag said, "Happy Birthday." I opened the package. It was a porcupine necktie. 2 porcupines were tossing darts with their quills, while a third was picking its teeth. I inspected the box, the tag, the paper. Nowhere could I find the giver's name. I asked my parents, I asked my friends, I called my Uncle Pete. Everyone denied knowing anything about it. At the time, I simply considered the episode a mystery. It did not occur to me that I was being watched. We were all being watched. "Did you see her?" That was the first thing Kevin said to me on the first day of school, 11th grade. We were waiting for the bell to ring. "See who?" I asked Ed. Ha, he craned his neck, scanning the mob. He had witnessed something remarkable. It showed on his face. He grinned, still scanning. You'll know. There were hundreds of us, milling about, calling names, pointing to summer-tanned faces we hadn't seen since June. Our interest in each other was never keener than during the 15 minutes before the first bell of the first day. I punched his arm. Ooh! The bell rang. We poured inside. I heard it again in homeroom, a whispered voice behind me as we said the Pledge of Allegiance. You see her? I heard it in the hallways. I heard it in English, in geometry. Did you see her? Who could it be? A new student? A spectacular blonde from California? Or from back east, where many of us came from? Or one of those summer makeovers, someone who leaves in June looking like a little girl and returns in September as a full-bodied woman, a 10-week miracle. And then in Earth Sciences, I heard a name, Stargirl. I turned to the senior slouching behind me. Stargirl, I said. What kind of name is that? That's it, Stargirl Caraway. She said it in homeroom. Stargirl? Yeah. And then I saw her. At lunch. She wore an off-white dress, so long it covered her shoes. It had ruffles around the neck and cuffs that looked like it could have been her great-grandmother's wedding gown. Her hair was the color of sand. It fell to her shoulders. Something was strapped across her back, but it wasn't a book bag. At first I thought it was a miniature guitar. I found out later it was a ukulele. She did not carry a lunch tray. She did carry a large canvas bag with a life-size sunflower painted on it. The lunchroom was dead silent as she walked by. She stopped at an empty table, laid down her bag, slung the instrument strap over her chair, and sat down. She pulled a sandwich from the bag and started to eat. Half the lunchroom kept staring, half started buzzing. Kevin was grinning. What'd I tell you? I nodded. She's in 10th grade, he said. I hear she's been homeschooled till now. Maybe that explains it, I said. Her back was to us, so I couldn't see her face. No one sat with her, but at the table next to hers, kids were cramming two to a seat. She didn't seem to notice. She seemed marooned in a sea of staring, buzzing faces. Kevin was grinning again. You thinking what I'm thinking, he said. I grinned back. I nodded. Hot Seat. Hot Seat was our in-school TV show. We had started it the year before. I was producer, director. Kevin was on-camera host. Each month, he interviewed a student. So far, most of them had been honor student types, athletes, model citizens. Noteworthy in the usual ways, but not especially interesting. Suddenly, Kevin's eyes boggled. The girl was picking up her ukulele, and now she was strumming it. And now she was singing, strumming away, bobbing her head and shoulders, singing. I'm looking over a four-leaf clover that I overlooked before. Stone silence all around. Then came the sound of a single person clapping. I looked. It was the lunch line cashier. And now the girl was standing, slinging her bag over one shoulder and marching among the tables, strumming and singing and strutting and twirling. Heads swung, eyes followed her, mouths hung open. Disbelief. When she came by our table, I got my first good look at her face. She wasn't gorgeous, wasn't ugly. A sprinkle of freckles crossed the bridge of her nose. Mostly, she looked like 100 other girls in school, except for two things. She wore no makeup, and her eyes were the biggest I had ever seen, like deer's eyes caught in headlights. She twirled as she went past, her flaring skirt brushing my pant leg, and then she marched out of the lunchroom. From among the tables came 3 slow claps. Someone whistled, someone yelped. Kevin and I gawked at each other. Kevin held up his hands and framed a marquee in the air. Hot Seat, coming attraction, Stargirl. I just really want to thank you guys for sitting with me today. Even if, you barely listen to these or watch the videos or whatever, I still appreciate it, I guess. These are, of course, for me. I keep saying that all the time, but I'm going to keep saying it. These are for me first. And the fact that anyone finds anything that resonates within it is incredibly dope to me. So I just wanted to really sincerely say thank you guys. And as always, we head out into the world. Inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold 3, 2, 1. And breathe out 2, 3,